New out from Airfix, the replacement for the Harrier. Is it worth getting? Find out right here on Gary's Stuff. Hello there, welcome to my channel, welcome back if you've been here before. Today, indeed, I'm looking at the new kit of the Lockheed F-35B Lightning in 1/72nd scale from Airfix, a new starter set. As usual in these videos, I'll have a quick look at the history of the F-35B. I'll have a look what other kits there are on the market, and of course, I'll be having a look inside the box to see what you get for your money. All these bits are in chapters. You can hop backwards and forwards as your heart desires. Now, if you enjoy the show, please do remember, imperial thumbs up on the like button below. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, and you'll be notified of all my future videos as they arrive on the channel, including the build video of this kit. And of course, if you want to offer a bit more concrete support, you can do it through super thanks. You can be a channel member, join the increasing number of channel members, or you can go through any of my online partner programs. Now, one of those is the Airfix affiliate program. There's a link in the information box below. If you click on that and then buy anything from the Airfix online store, be it this F-35 or anything else, then at no extra cost to you, Airfix will make a donation to this channel. And of course, you'll still get all of your benefits of being a club member or using your Hornby hobby points. None of that is affected. Okay, let's get on then and have a look at this kit of the F-35B, and we'll start with the history of the Lightning. The Lockheed Martin F-35B Lightning is the latest combat aircraft to enter service in the UK, equipping RAF and Fleet Air Arm squadrons. It's part of a family of fifth-generation stealthy multi-role aircraft produced by the Lockheed Martin Company in the USA. This includes the F-35A conventional takeoff and landing aircraft, the F-35B short takeoff vertical landing or STOVL variant, and the F-35C designed for use on conventional aircraft carriers with catapults and arrestor wires. All variants are highly stealthy through a mixture of careful design and the use of specialist radar absorbent materials. There are two internal weapons bays for a mixture of missiles and smart bombs, but if the environment doesn't require stealth, then extra weapons pylons can be added under the wings. The aircraft derives from the Lockheed X-35, which in 2001 beat the Boeing X-32 prototype to win the US Joint Strike Fighter competition. Although primarily aimed at the US forces, the F-35 has also been sold to many NATO and other allied countries. The F-35B is similar in size to the baseline F-35A, but it includes a main engine nozzle that can swivel downwards and a shaft-driven lift fan just behind the cockpit that has its own air inlet on the back of the fuselage. This allows it to take off in very short distances, including from an aircraft carrier with or without a ski ramp, and to land vertically. The F-35B has been ordered by the UK, but also by the US Marine Corps to replace its Harriers, by Italy, and also by Japan. The aircraft entered operational duties with 617 Squadron RAF, being designated combat ready from January 2019. The type will also equip 809 Naval Air Squadron and 207 Squadron RAF in the front line. Aircraft will operate from the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers. 48 F-35Bs are on order for the UK, out of around 3,000 aircraft of all variants ordered across the entire programme. With numerous upgrades planned, the F-35 is expected to form the cornerstone of US and NATO allied air power until at least 2070. This Airfix kit is a brand new tooling in their starter set range and is the company's first model of the F-35 Lightning. Italeri released a rather speculative 1/72nd scale kit of the F-35B, or Joint Strike Fighter as it was known at the time, in 2000. This was picked up by Revell and also by Tamiya, both in 2001. Italeri's far more accurate kit of the F-35B was released in 2019. This was again rebranded by Tamiya in the following year, but with the inclusion of a pilot figure. As an aside, Italeri also released the original 2000 kit with the Boeing X-32 in a 2018 special combination box. In 2010, Fujimi released an F-35B in 1/72nd scale. This has been re-released 3 times, most recently in 2019. Cyber Hobby also released a 1/72nd scale F-35B in the 2010s. Hasegawa launched their F-35B kit in 2018, listed as a new tooling but probably heavily influenced by their existing F-35A of 2014. Academy released a new tooled F-35B in 2020, although they had been selling the A model since 2013, and I'm assuming there must have been some design crossover. The first kit of the F-35B in 1/48th scale was this offering from Panda Models from 2003. In 2012, Kitty Hawk introduced a 1/48th scale F-35B. This was upgraded in 2015 with extra photo etch and has formed the basis for releases of the F-35A and F-35C. The only other Lightnings in 1/48th scale have been the Meng kit from 2017 and the highly regarded Tamiya kit of 2022. Finally, Kitty Hawk attempted a cute version of the F-35B in their Q-Men egg range in 2020 with, let's say, mixed results. The kit comes in a fairly reasonably sized box actually, it's quite large. Lovely artwork on the front as usual by Adam Tooby of F-35's 617 Squadron landing on presumably HMS Queen Elizabeth. Up here there's a actual size profile of the aircraft, a little bit of information about the F-35 here. Up here there's your flying hour token. If you're a member of the Airfix club, of course, you can collect those and you can put them towards a free kit in the future. If you don't collect them, if you're not a member of the club, you might consider sending those to Models for Heroes. Wonderful charity. Do check them out. The information is in the information box below. If you've got some of this stuff, you're not in the Airfix club, you're not going to use them, please think about cutting them out and sending them into them because they could really, really use them to help a lot of very, very good people. Skill level 1, it's a starter set, it should be. Reprise of the box art on both ends. Just a little bit of attention, don't do anything silly. This warning here. And on the back, the paint call out, which is essentially 164 all over with a bit of gunmetal and some black and white. Other than that, but it's just basically grey. And 164 grey is included. Okay, let's see what we get inside the box itself. The box opens at one end, there's just a couple of bits of tape holding closed. Let's see what we get inside. So we get 2 paintbrushes on this one. Okay, 2 paintbrushes, a number 4 and a number 0. Now you used to get one number 2 brush, but now you get a number 4 and a number 0. That's kind of nice. I like these brushes. These sort of standard Humbrol Airfix brushes are really nice. I use them a lot. There's a set of instructions, of course. There's also a page of things before you start, some tips and hints. I'll have a look at these in a bit more detail in a moment. There's a decal sheet. Again, we'll have a closer look at that in a bit. There's a paper cover that goes over it to protect them. There's a bag with 6 paints, 2 greys, white, black, gunmetal and I think silver, and a rather old-fashioned tube of polystyrene cement, and then the bag with all the bits in. We'll have a closer look at all of these in more detail. First we have A1, the base part of the aircraft, and A2, the top half of the aircraft. You know, no clues for guessing how this is all going to go together. Frame B is essentially the forward area, and that's the forward wheel bay, undercarriage bay. I think these are probably structural parts, and the fins. Frame C includes a piece with the inlet fan, and then the shadow stand. If you're doing the aircraft on the stand, it's got your own shadow stand. Frame D is lots of bits to do with the engine. There's the air intakes for the top of the aircraft. There's versions of the exhaust, whether it's in flight or in vertical mode, doors open and closed, things like that, and the nozzle for the jet. And frame E, a few more doors here and there, wheels, main legs, nose wheel, injection seat, and a pilot figure. And finally there's a plastic bag with the transparency for the canopy, a single piece transparency for the canopy. Have a bit more sort of close-up look at the plastic and the moulding. You know what, the mouldings are okay, the instrument controls, you know, the flight controls in there are alright. I guess that's the nozzle selection, maybe, I don't know. The inlet fan for the lift fan system. You can see down there the drive shaft for the lift fan as well. The panel lines, the sort of joints between the different panels and the radar reflective panels and things like that, they're all there. They're a little deep, perhaps, I don't know. On the real aircraft, I don't think they'd be anything like as deep as this. It might be that this is just a good way to demarcate areas if you want to do some painting to bring out the lines, because some of these lines will actually be very slightly different colours of paint on the real aircraft. Some of the panels maybe as well, I'd have to look those up. But, you know, they're all reasonably sharply printed on here and impressed on here. Mouldings look fine. There's very little inside to worry about. We'll need to just double check that none of these ejector pins here, these ejector pin markings here, they're where pins in the mould push against the part to help push it out of the mould when it's being made. Sometimes they need a little bit of grinding down to or sanding down, but these look like they've been mechanically ground already. So they, you know, we should be okay with that. You can see sort of telltale, sort of scratchy look to it. That sometimes the tool has got a mechanical grinder built into it to get rid of these posts or any remnants of the markings. Other than that, you know, the plastic looks okay. It's that sort of slightly darker hint of brown sort of plastic that Airfix now use, which is this slightly newer formulation that they've been using for a year or two, and it looks okay. The ejection seat is relatively basic, as you might imagine it would be on a starter set. There's a pilot figure as well, which actually isn't too bad. It's quite a nice little figure. The problem with these is when they come off the moulds, I don't know if it's this new plastic or whether, heaven forfend, they actually use a release substance on the moulds. But sometimes these parts can look really shiny and they don't look very detailed, and then you put a bit of primer on them and they actually look a lot more detailed than they are. I hope that's the case with this chap, because I'm putting a pilot in my one. I think it's like a generic modern pilot, because let's be honest, a lot of this detail down here you're never going to see this. If he's in his seat, you're never going to see that, so not entirely sure why they bother moulding it. To be fair, I certainly don't need to worry about painting it that accurately. Down his back. Or her back, of course. So there we go, and that's all very nice. The wheels and the fairings are on here. There we go, the wheels. Yeah, they're okay. They're fine. Again, you can see a bit more detail if you hold it so it's got a bit more reflected. Like when you look straight on, it doesn't look as sharp. But, you know, put a bit of reflective light in, and the mouldings are actually looking quite crisp, and there's nice beading on the tyre wall, at the top of the tyre wall. So that's looking cool. What, single piece wheels. Remember, this is a starter set, so they're going to be fairly simple. In fact, the nose wheel is a single moulded piece, completely moulded in one piece. It looks okay. Doesn't, you know, it's nothing major to worry about. No flash. It's a brand new mould, so there shouldn't really be any flash at all on this. And all these ejector nubs are going to come off nice and cleanly, I'm sure. But yeah, the plastic looks fine, the mouldings look fine. Yeah, it should be a good little kit to build. As is a habit with starter sets, Airfix will include this before you start sheet full of tips and tricks, tools that might help you. It still says to wash all the parts in soapy water. I know a lot of people don't do it, a lot of people don't like doing it. But anyway, identifying, you know, the frame numbers and where the parts are, use clippers if you can to take things off of the frames. A nail file or sanding sticks, of course. Drills if you need to drill holes in anything. Use tweezers for smaller parts. Test fit. That is really a useful tip. You know, if there's one tip that's worth telling everyone who starts making models, is to test things before you actually glue them. Don't use too much glue. Tape or clamp things together. Use clothes pegs or whatever you like to hold them together. Stir the paint thoroughly. You're going to have to stir the paints really, really thoroughly, because I don't know yet. I'll have a look. I'm told that the paints now are the Generation 2 Humbrol paints, but I don't know. Certainly do that. Anything small, paint it while it's still on the frame if you can. Allow time to dry between coats, very good. And then how to do the decals. Very nice little information sheet. They include that with every starter set now. Instructions are, yeah, pretty much the same as normal for Airfix, certainly for their starter sets nowadays. A little bit of information here and some data in English and in French and inside in other languages, I'm sure. Let's check. Yeah, there you go. German, Spanish and Swedish as well. The only thing I would complain about is, you know, the accuracy to which you claim things here. Length 15,600 millimeters. Why not 15.6 meters? I don't understand. Same. Wingspan 10,700 millimeters. Is that accurate to the millimeter? No, it isn't. It's about 10.7 meters long. That's the way it is. Maximum height 50,000 feet, 15,240 meters. See, that those are sort of rounded off. That should be, that's just millimeters is the wrong unit to be quoting. Quote them in meters. 15.6 meters. Okay, so that's a bit daft, to be honest. Yeah, all the rest of it, fine. Not a problem with that. The instructions themselves start off with a map of all the parts, which is excellent. They should do that more often. And then the instructions themselves. The difference between these instructions and other ones is they are a bit more basic in that they don't assume any knowledge of model making, so they show you areas where they suggest you put glue on. They point out that these bits need to come off. These are the little ejector nubs on the part. They need to be taken off before you use the part again, here and here. If you're a routine model maker, you know, you've been making a few kits, and you'd know all that stuff kind of yourself anyway. Colour call-outs, all the parts, the brands, decals for the instruments and so on. The other thing that's different on these instructions is they tell you exactly where on the frame every single piece of importance is. So you don't normally do that, you just assume people can read either look at a frame map or can just look up D15 and find it on their frame. But the instructions are clear, they're concise, very Airfix really. Interestingly, what they don't do, as they do on other Airfix mod instruction sheets, they would colour code things you did before, like you put on the doors here. On other instructions, the doors here would be highlighted in red because they're something you completed in the previous step, but they don't do it on these, probably to prevent any confusion. But you know, there we go. That's all very straightforward. The aircraft decals, as usual, made by Cartograph. Because this is a stealth aircraft and everything's grey, then all the decals off the outside are grey. The only thing that's coloured in any way are the instrument panels. Everything looks nice and crisp and clean. Very, very sharp. You know, they're made by Cartograph, of course, that's what they're going to be. They're lovely. But fortunately few and fairly straightforward to put on, I'd imagine. Yes, as you can see here, even though you know that they're using grey, black gives you the best contrast and the best apparent sharpness. Even these grey decals look nice and sharp when you look close up. And then finally on the back of the packet is a map of where all the decals go and where all the paints go. Let's face it, on the outside it's just grey. So the decal placing is the most important thing. An aircraft of the 617 Squadron, Royal Air Force, part of Carrier Strike Group 21, HMS Queen Elizabeth in 2021. You get 6 pots of Humbrol paint with this aircraft. One of the biggest issues I've had with starter sets in recent years is the quality of the Humbrol paints. Airfix tell me, well, Dale Luckhurst, the head of brand, said that these are now Gen 2 paints, Humbrol's latest Generation 2 paints. We will see how well they go on. Normally when I do a starter set, I would say I'm going to do it exactly as you get out the box, but I'm going to put a coat of primer on this aircraft first. I don't want to spend ages and ages and ages doing countless layers of paint just to get it to stick to the plastic. So we'll put some primer on. You know, most people can find a tin of primer in the house, and we'll see how these paints go on. The weak link, to me at least, in the past has always been the silver and the gunmetal. Black and white, they're okay. The greys are fine, not a problem, but it's this silver, Humbrol silver, number 11, has always been a pain to me. It's never looked shiny enough. It looked just grey, sparkly grey, rather than silver. Any sort of proper shine to it. Likewise, gunmetal, it looks like a sort of sparkly dark grey rather than as sort of a metallic surface. I really have not liked it, but I hope these are better. I'm going to give them a go. If they're no good, I'll finish the kit in something else. But you get 6 pots of paint. What you do get in the kit, and what I do like very, very much, are a pair of these Humbrol brushes. I suspect these are the cheapest range they do, because they're giving them away with the kit, or they're factored into the cost of the kit. However, these are really, really nice brushes to use. I have quite a few number 2 brushes, because that's what they used to give out with simple starter sets. Here we have a number 0 and we have a number 4. The 4 is going to be for painting the large areas, so the fuselage and wings and stuff like that. The 0 will be for things like picking out the tyres, painting the pilot, things like that. So we'll see how we go with these, but these are lovely brushes. And of course we get one of the infamous polystyrene cement tubes from Airfix. There's ways around using these, but yeah, I'm still disappointed when I see these, because basically all of these get thrown away. I never ever use these for anything, so I don't think they help new modelers either, because this was in the 60s we were using these and they were pretty poor then. Now that it's just and you know, it's a load of sticky fingers over a nice model waiting to happen. There are ways around it, as I said, but you know, you really shouldn't be. If you look at Revell, for example, they have one of the needle delivery, you know, the very fine needle delivery things. Their contactor range, a little contactor cement, and they're brilliant. I guess it's a price thing. Maybe I've just got a few 100,000 of these sitting in a warehouse, something, I've got to get rid of them, but I wish they'd just recycle the contents into something better, frankly. There we go then. Looks a very, very intriguing kit. I think looks at first glance at least, they've done wonders with a starter set of quite a complex plane. I'm beginning to think I should have bought two of them, one to do with in the fully fed off setting as if it was flying with the shadow stand, and another one to do on the wheels with all the doors open. I'm going to do the one on the wheels with all the doors open on the build video because those are the options, but hey. So if you've enjoyed the show, and I hope you have, please remember, Imperial thumbs up on the like button below. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, you'll be notified of all my future videos as released, including the build video of this very kit. In any case, thanks so much for watching, hope to see you next time, take care now and goodbye.